I received unexpected good news about Shin's cooking improving, but it wasn't related to the purpose of our visit here. Rimuru informed us that the battle between Milim and the Insector King Zelanus had reached a standstill. Simultaneously, Lubelius' capital, Luminous territory, was under attack by angelic forces from the sky. Gopta and the others had been dispatched to reinforce Milim, so the situation there appeared to be stable for the time being. With Milim present, they should be well equipped to handle any unforeseen developments. However, I couldn't help but be concerned about Shin and Adalman, who were sent to assist Luminous. Their combat capabilities were uncertain, especially since the Holy Knight Order, a crucial part of Lumina's military, had been relocated to the Kingdom of Ingratia under Hinata's leadership. Luminous also had a force known as the Bloody Knights, consisting of vampires, but their numbers were limited to around 400. While the quality of this team was undoubtedly high, I couldn't stay silent upon learning of Jahil's confirmed presence. Consequently, I left the cleanup in the Kingdom of Ingratia to Hinata and Masayuki and rushed here, only to find no sign of a battle. Instead, I ended up enjoying Shin's sweets and awaiting Lumina's arrival. Surprisingly, it took no more than 10 minutes before Lumina's appeared, leaving me astonished at Shin's progress and leading to a longer chat with her. With these matters addressed, it was time to delve into the main topic. So, how did the battle with the angels unfold? They retreated, and there wasn't any significant damage. It appears that the attack on this location was unrelated to their original plan. Luminous proceeded to provide me with a detailed account of the situation. It turned out that this place had been targeted due to Jahil's disruptive actions, which I referred to as harassment. He and I share a long-standing history of conflict, having been in opposition to each other for an extended period. She mentioned when I inquired further. She didn't immediately elaborate, but after I mentioned hearing some of the story from Sylvia-san, she reluctantly shared more details. Luminous had a father figure, Divine Ancestor Twilight Valentine, also known as the Twilight King. According to her, Divine Ancestor Twilight had created various intelligent life forms, with some of his pupils becoming known as the Divine Ancestor's High Disciples. The first was Jahal, and the second was Luminous, as Sylvia-san had previously mentioned. Each High Disciple established their own nation. Sylvia-san, for example, had only supported and aided her fellow High Elves, while Altan, her daughter, ultimately united all elves under the sorcerer's dynasty of Saurian. Interestingly, Sylvia-san and Luminous still maintained a secret friendship to this day, unbeknownst to Altan. Initially, I refrained from interfering with Saurian, though I did offer some help in the beginning. Since Saurian had been founded over 2,000 years ago, verifying Luminous's claims was difficult. However, there was no reason for her to fabricate such a story, given her and Sylvia-san's status as long-lived beings and living pieces of history. Convinced of the story's likely authenticity, I continued to listen. Luminous mentioned that she and Sylvia-san were the only surviving High Disciples of Divine Ancestor Twilight. No one else seemed to stay in contact with them. I don't like admitting it, but I'm something of a replica of the Divine Ancestor. Strictly speaking, I'm not a vampire but a high blood, born from his blood. Jahil, on the other hand, was created by cultivating the flesh of the Divine Ancestor. While he didn't seem to inherit the power-absorbing ability, he too was close to immortality. On the other hand, Jahil's secret art of spiritualization was flawless. By transforming himself into a spiritual entity, Jahil could safely and consistently inherit all the knowledge, experience, and authority he had acquired. It was necessary to prepare a substitute body, but it seems Jahil could readily obtain bodies from his blood relatives as needed. This effectively resolved the issue of his lifespan. However, perhaps due to his excessive arrogance, he made a significant error. While Jahil was absorbed in his research, his political subordinates, responsible for governing the nation, began competing for supremacy. Eventually, this power struggle divided the country, and the ill-fated summoning of the uncontrollable demon guy led to its ruin. He held a grudge against me for destroying the Divine Ancestor and bore animosity towards me. I believed he had met his end on his own. I never imagined he would survive until now and return with such an overwhelming amount of power. Indeed, Luminous had killed her own father, the Divine Ancestor, which had sparked Jahil's resentment and made him a formidable adversary. During a conversation where I was offering Luminous some advice, Shin overheard and interrupted, expressing surprise at the news of Benimaru's apparent defeat. I corrected Shin's statement to honor Benimaru's efforts, stating that as long as one survived, they could be considered victorious. In that sense, Benimaru had achieved victory even though he had merely prolonged the fight. Jahil was undeniably a formidable threat. I see. So then Luminous-sama, who defeated such an opponent, is stronger than Benimaru. That was the point. I had also been curious about that. In reality, I didn't perceive much difference in strength between Luminous and Benimaru. That's why I had hurried to their location, concerned for Luminous and her group. I wanted to learn how Luminous had managed to overcome Jahil. Luminous began to speak casually, recounting an experience with an evil dragon destroying her city, a story I had heard before. I responded politely to her, eager to hear more. Luminous then explained that she had set up multiple layers of barriers to protect her city from threats like evil dragons. I didn't expect Jahil to be that powerful. He overwhelmed Benimaru and seemed in control of his ultimate skill, though not to the extent of Veldora. I was skeptical that a mere barrier would suffice. This is a sacred land where my believers gather. With their unwavering faith, repelling Jahil's power is easy. While her words were backed by results, I couldn't help but wonder if it was truly that simple. I contemplated the possibility of applying the secret of faith and grace theory, but recognized it as a daunting task. Luminous had successfully turned theory into reality through her efforts. It was an impressive feat that I couldn't fathom replicating. Seal-san inquired if I wished to achieve the same, but I hesitated, recognizing that it wasn't solely my decision. I decided to postpone this matter for now, as other pressing projects demanded attention, and the ongoing war left little time for such endeavors.